and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on this episode I've got a live com game away to Woking in the Conference National. Before we get into that though, we'll just have a little rundown of the first 5 or 6 games of the season. It's not going too badly. The last time you were with me, it was the away game, first game of the season at Tranmere, where we equalised late on to give a 1-1 draw. Very, very happy to come away from Tranmere with a draw. And to celebrate, I went out and signed a few more players. I thought my squad was pretty much complete. We went through it at length last episode. But then a couple of I think there was 3 in total, really good, promising youngsters became available. 2 from Man City, 1 from Man United. They're all young, bags of potential. Won't necessarily go straight into the first team, but they're cheap, they're young. They've come from 2 of the biggest clubs in the world. So couldn't really say no. The first one of them is Jimmy Dunn, an 18-year-old centre-back. He looks pretty good. He's quick, he's strong, he's good in the air, and he's only 18. He is going to be some defender once he gets a little bit older. We've got him on a 2-year contract, and he's only costing us £160 a week. He could be a League 2 player inside 18 months. So really glad to have him at the club. We have sold more season tickets this year. Yay! We only sold about 500 last year. We'd been hoping to sell 800, so I'm a little bit disappointed we only sold 700. But, you know, it's progress. As long as that increases every year, things are going well. Another one of the young players, Isaac Buckley. This one's an 18-year-old striker. Again, similar kind of physical profile in that he's strong, he's quick, he's a good finisher. He's ideal to be a target man for us, but he can play target man or poacher, so he can play up front on his own quite comfortably, or he can play in either side of a front 2 when we go for the 4-4-2. So very handy player to have around the squad, and we've got 4 or 5 really good Conference National strikers at the club now. Not missing Dale Southwell at all. Hopefully that could come back and bite me. Next game, a little bit disappointing. We went for something a little bit different in this game. We went for a 4-3-3 and actually played 3 of those strikers all together. So Colby Bishop, who's the lone player who was with us in the first game of the season, he played as a target man with new boy Isaac Buckley, and then the 24-year-old poacher, who I have labelled in my head as a new Dale Southwell. All 3 of them playing together with Pazicki, Dixon and Tempest as a midfield. It didn't really work. I think we went 2-1 down, then pulled it back to 2-2. No, we didn't. We went 2-1 down, then 3-1 down. It was just a bit of a disaster, really. We couldn't really get hold of the ball. Didn't work. So that was a 1-game experiment, really. I've still got the tactics saved, so if needs must at some point, we're accomplished training at it now. So it might be a handy thing to have to throw players forward in the latter stages of a game, but it didn't really work for us. We went back to the 4-5-1 for the following game. 2-2 draw away to Forest Green. Colby Bishop playing up front on his own with Hartley and Meckie supporting him from the wings. He played really, really well, got 2 goals. Happy to pick up another draw away from home. And then we got our first win at home to Ebbsfleet, again with the 4-5-1. This time we went control rather than counter. Actually starting to dominate possession with this system now, which is encouraging, and always good to pick up our first win. And then we went away to Guiseley, and just never really looked like creating anything. In fact, no, we went to the 4-4-2 in this game. I can't remember why we did that. There must be a reason. But we went to the 4-4-2, and it was like last season all over again. We were creating lots of chances, having a lot of possession, but not really scoring. So that was a little bit disappointing, but good to, again, pick up another draw away from home. That summarises the Conference National transfer window. We've brought in 15 players, so obviously we've brought in more players than anybody else. There's been some other moves there as well. The Premier League has gone crazy mad with spending money. Man United, felt they probably needed to bring in a striker or two, so they just brought in Higuain and Morata. Just spent, £90 million. Why not? They didn't even spend the most money in the transfer window either. That went to Man City. So lots of money being thrown around in the Premier League, and we missed out on being the most active team in the whole of England in the transfer window by one player. Maidstone bringing in 16 players to our 15. If only we could have found another couple, we could have got on that screen as well. That was an interesting one. Transfer window's ended. He still hasn't got a club. Dale Southwell. He still won't come and talk to us though. I'd have him back. I know we've already got 5 decent strikers, so we don't really need him. But, yeah, that's a bit disappointing that he's left us. No one else wants him. I'll keep trying to sign him throughout the season. It would be awful to see him be one of those FM players who just ends up retiring after not having a club for a year or so. Because there's no reason why he can't just come and play for us if no one else wants him. He'd be a cracking player in our team, but for whatever reason, he's just decided he doesn't want to play for us. And that's the board confidence as it stands at the moment. They're still pretty happy. They were expecting us to be much lower down the table than we are at this stage. So that, combined with the hangover from last season, I guess, means they're still very, very happy, which is always good. And that's how the league table looks. So 6 games in, we're 16th. We've won 1 game, drew 3 games, lost 1. We're -2 on the goal difference. But 6 points on the board after 6 games, that's fine by me. If we can carry on averaging a point a game, we're not going to get relegated. And that's what it's all about this season. So, getting into today's game, I have decided to go back to the 4-4-2 again. As much as the 4-5-1 was serving us well defensively, I just felt like we weren't scoring a lot of goals. Yeah, we picked up our only win playing the 4-5-1, but we've got so many strikers at the club now. I don't want to limit us to just playing one at the same time. And combining that with the fact that the young Polish lad, whose name I forget, and I can't see him because I've got unavailable players off, Adrian Pazicki, he's away on international duty with Poland under-19s. And aside from him, the only other player we've got who can play as a holding midfielder is Scott Garner. And he's struggling with the step up to the Conference National. So we don't really have a holding midfield player to play. So rather than trying to squeeze someone into that role who's not really any good at it, I thought, well, let's just bring in one of these extra strikers we've got, go back to the 4-4-2 that worked so well last year and see how we get on. It's not quite the 4-4-2 we used last season. I've tried to modify it a little bit to make it a little bit more defensively solid. So rather than having the wide players on support and then almost a diamond in midfield with the ball-winning midfielder on defence and Dixon as an advanced playmaker on attacking, I've decided to go with Dixon as a box-to-box midfielder on support. He seems to be drifting more and more as he gets a little bit older and develops. He's developing his more defensive stats faster than anything else, and his preferred position now is actually as a ball-winning midfielder. So I think he'll suit the box-to-box quite well. I don't want to take his attacking ability out of the game completely. Obviously, he was player of the season there for us last season. But by switching him to a box-to-box midfielder, it frees up the 2 wide players to be able to be a little bit more attacking. So we're going to go with both Hartley and Summerfield out wide on attacking instructions, and then Bishop and Buckley up front with Bishop as target man and new boy Isaac Buckley as a poacher. So I've not played this system before. It's completely new. It could massively backfire or it could be awesome. The reason we've got Summerfield in the side is that Kane Felix has picked up a knock, and Adam Meckie is struggling a little bit for form and is a little bit more suited to playing further forward rather than as part of a 4-man midfield. He likes to be part of the 3 up front, and we don't really have room for him playing in that position in today's game. So this is the team that we're going for. Let's get that submitted. Yes, we know most of them start match fit. We're not favourites for the game, so it does give us a little bit of an opportunity for some experimentation, which is always good. Yeah, let's encourage the team, even though we're underdogs. We could go out and do something awesome. If we get stuffed today, I think that'll probably be it for the 4-4-2. But I thought if there was ever going to be a time to experiment with it properly again, it would be when we don't really have a defensive midfield player available. I have tried to sign a specialist defensive midfield player, but the only one we've been able to identify so far went to Stockport, who came up with us last season. They won the playoffs and decided to go there despite them being rooted to the bottom of the league. rather than coming to us. That's a bit of a shame, because I think if he'd have signed, he'd have probably been playing today and we'd have gone for the 4-5-1. That has been working pretty well, especially away from home, where I think we're undefeated away from home. I think the only losses have been home games, so we've been doing well away from home with the 4-5-1. So it does seem a little bit counterintuitive to mix things up today, but just needs must with the players we had available. And it would be a shame not to give these strikers a go together. And there you go, that's 1-0. Colby Bishop has come straight into this side in fantastic form. That's his 4th goal of the season already. And it was good link-up play of Isaac Buckley there. Very happy with that as a first goal for this combination. That's a lovely pass across there from Buckley to Bishop. They're combining excellently, and yeah, if they keep that up, no reason at all to not play the two of them together. And we've got 2 more good strikers, at least. One on the bench in Goddard, and then Maurice, the lad who scored the equaliser against Tranmere in the last episode. He hasn't even had a look in since Buckley's side signed, but I don't know. If Southwell did decide he wanted to come back, would he even get in the team? Yeah, he probably would. But that's beside the point. We've got some good strikers again, and that's good. Greg Tempest has picked up a knock here. It's only a gashed head, so he needs to stop whining about it, really. I'm not going to substitute him for a gashed head, and I don't really have an alternative on the bench. Bishop puts the ball out to Hartley. Dunn kind of miscues that, and they've got a player through here. We are still playing with a high defensive line, and it's cost us a little bit there. We're playing a high defensive line and offside trap, and perhaps we can't really play that in this division because we were really caught out with it just there because they've got in behind us with 2 players. And we might need to have a tweak to sit a little bit deeper, stop trying to play an offside trap, because it might just be that I'm on key highlights rather than extended, but I haven't seen a goal disallowed for offside in this save at all yet, I don't think. I could be exaggerating, but I certainly don't remember seeing one. Used to come up all the time in FM16. But it doesn't seem to really be a thing in this version. Perhaps they just don't show up on extended on key highlights. Perhaps it's happening loads. But either way, if we get caught out again with players getting in behind us, I think that's the cue to drop the high defensive line. As much as I like the way it compresses the play further up, if we're going to leave big holes behind us for teams to get into, that's not a good plan. That's nothing to do with our defensive line. That's just a good goal. Their strikers got between our 2 centre-backs there. It's a new centre-back partnership. Lionel Stone is injured at the moment, so the new boy Dunn is playing alongside Pierre Gianni, and neither of them really knew who was picking that guy up there, which is a bit of a problem. Right, we can still get back into this game. We're doing okay possession-wise, and we can't be lumping the ball forward up like that though. That's not our style, but they're getting in behind us again here. And that is another goal that goes down to the high defensive line. It's far too late for me to be changing this now. The damage is already done, but let's just sit normal for the rest of the game. Like I say, damage is done. But that's 2 goals we've given away by our defenders just being too far forward. They're too slow to keep up with the pace that players are coming at them attacking, and that was a poor goal for us to give away. We shouldn't be letting players in behind us in that way. And now the argument for going back to the 4-5-1 re-emerges, because we haven't lost away from home with that, and we are getting hammered here now. So what kind of difference would a holding midfielder have made to those 2 goals that have come from through balls? Certainly probably would have limited the through balls coming through in the first place. So perhaps we need to go for the 4-5-1 away from home and use this 4-4-2 at home when we want to be a little bit more attacking. I'm going to bring Scott Garner on for Greg Tempest, just to freshen things up a little bit. He's been struggling with that injury all game. I might even make all 3 substitutions now, actually. I might bring Meckie on for Hartley. And yeah, I'm going to bring Godden on as well for Buckley. Why not? Let's go for it. And let's go attacking as well. And just try and win the game. Or at least get back into it. I'm not really one for damage limitation. Let's try and get 2 goals back. In fact, let's make sure we've not still got work ball into the box on. No, we've already taken that off. Good, good. Still can't bring myself to pump the ball into the box. I'd rather lose than have to resort to doing that, but at least we're trying to create some chances. We're doing okay for possession. It's just those couple of defensive slips. And I mean, really, if you look at the clear-cut chances, the game has gone exactly the way it should. We've created one, they've created three. They're winning 3-1, so the game has gone according to how it was supposed to go, but you have to wonder if things would have been different if we'd have played with a normal defensive line from the start, or if we'd have had a holding midfield player in there. Would love to hear in the comments your thoughts on that. Tactics. Oh, Adebola's upset everybody there. Yeah, okay, they didn't like that. We'll let him make the damage even worse. Yeah, he makes damage even worse with individual team talks. Might do the team talks myself next match. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you'd be doing tactically at the moment. I mean, really, we're still not bottom of the league, so on that basis, we're still doing okay. But I've got 3 or 4 systems that we could be playing now, and would love to hear your thoughts on which ones we should be playing or what tweaks we should be making to the ones that we've got. So make sure you let me know. If you've enjoyed that episode, make sure you pop a like on the episode for me and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on tomorrow's episode. And let me know in the comments as well what you think of the snazzy new channel art, giving everything a little bit of a spring clean. Thanks very much for watching.